as usual, also in 46 other African countries via satellite, in some parts of Europe, and of course South America. We are streaming live on Facebook. Join us at facebook.com/Pan-African Television. I see scores of you have joined the feed. I'll be taking messages, so be a part of the conversation. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'll be more than glad to read them as the show progresses. This morning, I've been joined by a man for whom I have enormous respect, the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Sagnaregu constituency, Alhaji A.B.A. Hussein. It's been a while we met. For some weeks, he's been absent on the show, but he had to perform other obligations. And so we are always happy that he's here with us, and we'll get the opportunity to have him on the show once again. Alhaji, good morning.
Good morning. Bless.
Hope you're fine.
They say you didn't show an indigent the way to his house. Unfortunately, the last few weeks have been very, very busy weeks. Very busy time for me personally. I had to go and do first and foremost Umrah, the holy Islamic pilgrimage, if you like, to Mecca and to Medina, the place of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to pray for the nation, to pray for His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, who, by the grace of Allah Almighty, on January 7th, 2025, will be sworn in as the President of this Republic. But our people say that even if you are handsome, you still need to bath. We are clear that by the grace of Allah Almighty, His Excellency President Mahama, Ghanaians want him back. But bless, I am among those people who say that when you are wrestling with a hypocrite, putting him down is not enough. Let him gather enough dust on his back and his forehead for people to know that you have put him down. So I am taking this opportunity to appeal to my colleagues, friends, brothers, comrades in the NDC, that we should work like we are even behind. We should work like never before and get even more hungry for power. So let nobody harbor an iota of complacency. So let's work harder than even before and ensure that we consign this hopelessly uninspiring, hopelessly incompetent, corruption-ridden, nation-wrecking MPP, the Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia government to the sidelines, so that President Mahama will return, the nation builder will return with his competent vice president, a vice president of integrity. And I'm just saying that what we did on Wednesday, bless, was not to our door a running mate, was to showcase to the good people of this country the person who is coming as the next vice president of the republic, to restore honor, dignity, and integrity to an office, to the office of the vice president that in the last 8 years has been so debased, has been so lowered, has been so denigrated by somebody who has lied so profusely to this country that people associate the vice presidency with lies, with deceit, with dishonor. And I'm sure that she will bring order and integrity and also complement President Mahama's effort to bring hope and prosperity back to Ghana, so that things will go well for them. During the course of the Umrah, I was also privileged to team out with some other Ghanaians, like I said, to say prayers. We pray that the Almighty Allah accepts our prayers and our supplications and bring hope and peace back to Ghana. Unfortunately, just as I returned, I was faced with another sad news of the demise of one of our strong pillars in the constituency. Mr. Alabira is a branch executive in my constituency, very hard-working.
Yeah, I think Bernard told me yesterday.
Exactly, conscientious guy, and we lost him. And immediately I had to go back to Tamale, to the constituency, to help see to how things will go with his funeral. May the Almighty Allah have mercy on his soul and this thing. And just as we are speaking again, we have lost another very tall pillar in our party, one who has sacrificed a lot of his life, part of his life in working for the party. Mohammed Namadina, they used to call him Abwaji. I'm sure you would have heard of him in the run-up to the 2008 elections. He nearly lost his life. Some MPP hoodlums waylaid him and nearly set fire to him. It nearly killed him. And but for the intervention of Allah Almighty and some good Samaritans who came away, they were able to rescue him. Yeah, but this guy has been a workaholic person for the NDC. Unfortunately, we lost him yesterday. May Allah Almighty have mercy on his soul, and may the family be comforted that, as we Muslims say, "Kalu inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun." From Allah do we come, and unto Him shall we return. So this and other things have kept me away for this time. But I say that Pan Africa there is a home, and any day, any time. I don't need an invitation to be here.
Right. Right. Saka Salia is a member of the national communications team of the New Patriotic Party. He's here as well. Saka, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
I hope you're fine.
Great. I'm great.
Great. Right. So I'll run our viewers through the topics we are discussing for the morning, for the show, and then we'll proceed. African leaders spearhead. By the way, I'm expecting Bernard Mona of the PNC as well, so I'm hoping that he gets to join us a tad later on the show, but we'll start the conversation regardless. African leaders spearhead efforts to tackle terrorism across the continent. No credible argument against Professor Nana Jane's audacious speech. Imani boss Nana Jabs Mahama, someone I have beaten twice cannot succeed me. Someone I have beaten twice cannot succeed me. So these are the topics we are discussing. Without further delay, we'll get into the first one. African leaders spearhead efforts to tackle terrorism across the continent. African leaders discussed anti-terrorism solutions on the continent during a high-level security summit in the Nigerian capital, Abuja, Monday, amid a rise in terror attacks. According to the African Center for the Study and Research on Terrorism, Africa witnessed an average of 8 terror-related incidents and 44 daily casualties in 2023. The toll included 7,000 civilians and 4,000 military personnel killed in attacks. Nigeria's National Security Advisor and organizer of the summit, Nuhu Ribadu, emphasized the urgent need to combat terrorism in Africa. He highlighted the diverse threats posed by terrorist groups and stressed the importance of integrated security strategies. These groups exploit local vulnerabilities and contribute to ongoing instability, necessitating integrated security strategies that combine military, economic, and regional cooperation efforts, Ribadu said. So the story is long. If I say I'd read the entirety of it, it will take so much time. But Africa's security issues is not a strange conversation to any of us on this panel this morning, and so we'll get into it. But my question is, I mean, this isn't the first time they're having such a meeting. As and when, as time ticks by, they continuously have these meetings, have these conversations about the infiltration of these insurgents and jihadists on the African continent and the sort of terror they unleash on civilians. They have these conversations, but then again, I think we know for a fact that there's been a sort of relaxed approach to fighting it, except that most of the time what they do is they call on the West. So you see Western powers, you see their military on African soil, and they are the one fighting these insurgents. They are the ones fighting these terrorists. Why can't we do this ourselves? And so for me, the question I ask is, what is the essence or the relevance of these?
To congratulate our running mate, who I have said on that particular day in the interviews that I granted, made it abundantly clear, and it's abundantly clear to everybody that this is the vice Her Excellency the Vice President in waiting, and not just in waiting, but to make history as the first woman Vice President of the Republic, and open the door to our mothers and others who for long have been at the periphery of things. So clearly, her performance at the ceremony made it abundantly clear to everybody that this is the Vice President they have been waiting for. And so I want to take this opportunity to congratulate her for her virtuoso performance. No doubt President Mahama has been vindicated for making that choice. Some people are still struggling to even make a choice as to who they will have to even partner their destiny. That is their cup of tea. We'll come to that. I haven't spoiled. I haven't mentioned.
Said we have sports for choices.
Look, bless. It's like you are all sitting in a room. Then the air is found and somebody gets up. Nobody has asked anything. He gets up and says, I'm not the one. That's what my brother Sakasalia is doing. Yeah, so African security. You see, what we have just said brings the nostalgia back of the legendary founder of this nation, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, when he initiated the policy of the African High Command. The setting up of a continental military structure that would deal with all the other issues of conflict on the continent. You see, bless, I keep on saying, anytime I have the opportunity to talk about this, I keep on saying that, you see, the balkanization of the African continent, especially at a time when the other entities across the world, continental bodies, are coalescing. They are uniting, and Africa is further balkanizing. You have Sudan, which is splitting to South and other Sudan. You have countries that are coming and splitting across. You have separatist movement. You have when others are coalescing. It's a symptom of what is happening. So I see it as both internal and external. External, the colonial powers have a responsibility in what is happening. If you look at the issue in the Sahel, a lot of it has to do with the aftermath of the conspiracy to kill Muammar al-Gaddafi in Libya. When Gaddafi was in Libya and was able to exercise that very strategic hold on that territory and made the resources of Libya to benefit Libyans and Africans, it was not something that was pleasing to the West, especially the nationalization of the oil wealth of Libya. So the conspiracy to remove Gaddafi, and that has created a zone of instability in that area. So not only did it lead to the proliferation of armed groups, but weapons flowed into a number of those areas. So what do you expect? So the West has a substantial responsibility in what is happening in a lot of Africa today. No wonder. You see, many African countries, especially the French West African countries, are beginning to realize the complicity of France and some of these other Western countries in the instability in their areas. Because having helped to create and ferret arms to some of these rebel groups, they cannot be the same people who will come and rescue us from that thing. I have always said it, that you cannot have your mouth full of water and you'll be blowing to the candy fire. You will quench it. So it is not they who are complicit in the creation of some of these zones of instability in certain parts of our continent. Will be the same people who have the panacea to those problems. And so rightly, we are beginning to see in many of those areas, Niger, Mali, Guinea, and other countries, they are expelling some of these forces who have proven to be counterproductive. They have been there for all these years, yet the conflicts are spreading. And so they are beginning to take a second look. And if they see Russia filling the void, it is because of the credibility issues that I'm talking about here. But ultimately, like I say, the responsibility lies on us as Africans to take, like Kwame Nkrumah said, the legendary Kwame Nkrumah said, to take our destiny into our own hands and do what is right and proper. Yes, some degree of conferences may be necessary to, as it were, strategize and work on a roadmap to do something. But one too many of such things are counterproductive, as you try to point out. Is it Jimmy Cliff or Bob Marley who says action speaks louder than words? Jimmy Cliff. Okay? We should act more than we talk. And in any cases where we go and talk and put up the roadmap, we should walk the talk. So where is the bid for Africa to put together? Like I said, like in the 60s, what Kwame Nkrumah talked about in the 60s, early 60s, about the need for a continental African government and a continental African high command, a military structure to deal with some of these emergencies and exigencies in parts of Africa. It's not there. So I think that it is time African leaders recommitted themselves, rededicated themselves to ensuring that we work towards my project is always a monolithic, united, strong, continental African Union government. No single African country is strong enough in today's global integration to face the world single-handedly. I've said it. Look, Ghana competing against even Germany. Germany standing by its own has no match. Ghana is no match. Nigeria is no match. Togo is no match. Small countries. Now Germany has gone to join up with France, Belgium, other nations to form the EU, and now you are now competing against a bigger political and economic entity. What chance do you stand? And still we are trying to still function in our small enclaves, in our balkanized territories, thinking that we have a chance to face these things. And bless, part of our predicament is that Africa is the richest continent, but we are featuring the poorest people. That's the paradox. Why that paradox? It's because we don't control our resources. It's the control of resources that these Western nations are putting these books in our works. So until we realize and come together and form that monolithic and face them and ensure that we have the ability to control our resources, we are not getting anywhere. They will play one African country against another. Oh, you are the good boys. These are the bad boys. Let's find a way to show you up. And in the end, not a single success story can be made out of any African country. They will never show any African country up. Because the end result is to control and use our resources. The global resources are finite. So the more you can lay hands on other people's resources, it is a guarantee for the better life for your people. So if Africa begins to get united, if African leaders begin to get wiser to take steps to control the resources for the benefit of their people, it becomes a worry for them. So you see those strong African leaders, Osagyefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Muammar al-Gaddafi, and the like. The strong ones, Patrice Lumumba, anytime they see a strong African leader who is advocating for the control of their resources, they will come after that person. So that's why Bob Marley sang the song, how long can they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? So I find in this story, it is an indictment on us as African people, that we are being incapable of handling our own affairs, of working to understand that this world as we are in is made up of people who have an overbearing interest in our continent, not because they like us, but because of the resources that are in the continent. They want to control those resources, and part of the decision is to sow seeds. And having sowed the seeds, they will sometimes even supply arms, so that we kill one another, and while we are killing one another, they are taking away our resources. So the onus comes back to us as African people. Let us endeavor to put aside everything and work for the monolithic unity of the continent, so that from a united Africa, we can now be in position not only to bargain, but to hold our own in the international arena and be able to protect our resources for the benefit of our people. Africa cannot continue to function as the continent blessed by Almighty Allah with all the riches of the world, and yet feature the most poor, the poorest of the poor on our continent. It's a crime our leaders are presiding over, and I believe that what project the great Osagyefo and his forebears tried to work for continental African unity will find space in our current leaders, some of whom are only preoccupied with just wanting to flaunt themselves as I'm president of this particular country. That beyond that, nothing. They cannot even work for the well-being of their own people. And so I think that this is a clarion call. Security meetings such as this, important as they may be in some respect, we should not overemphasize them. After going there, let us craft plans that can bring us together to fight the collective menace of these conflicts and this violence, and put our nations on a sound pedestal to realize the interests and aspirations of our people. I think this for me is the way out.
Thank you very much, Alhaji for saying it. So I'll quickly go to Saka Salia. He would also share his thoughts on this issue. Saka.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning to our cherished viewers. And let me take the opportunity to welcome Alhaji ABF Husseini from the house of God. Ahlan wa sahlan.
I prayed for you.
Yeah, I'm in Baitillah.
May Allah Almighty bless you and your family.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But I sense something when he was speaking. He says all his and I'm sure he said about two of them, and he called them, both of them, my tall pillars in the constituency. I also extend my condolence and on behalf of the MPP to the bereaved family. But now that all the tall pillars are gone in the constituency is for the MPP.
I know this. I've told you that the Sanaro constituency, for MPP to win Sanaro constituency, is like a dry fish walking back on the river.
Yeah, so it will be like that. So we win it. We are going to win it. And once again, I mean, good morning to our president. I mean, the indefatigable and visionary president of Ghana. He has always served as an old lady, when in the bones of the NDC, anytime you mention Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. But, history will judge him. Posterity will be the best judge for Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, taking into consideration the kind of developmental efforts no, I'm coming. President Mahama is the worst. You see?
And today, Ghanaians are lighting candles and looking for him.
Nobody is lighting any candle. He is lighting candle looking for people. He is rather lighting candle looking for people.
All over across the country.
Because if you look at the history of this country, I mean, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of even soft infrastructure and all that, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo is streets ahead of his peers. The only person that come near him is J. Kufuor. And I'm telling you, and from after J. Kufuor, Rollins Mills. So John Mahama is even the last. All the achievement of John Mahama, I have been chronicling them. All the achievements.
Talking about Africa.
I'm coming there. When he was talking about Senegal Good Constituency, was it Africa? You see, if you look at all the achievement that they shout about John Mahama, all of them, with the exception of few, are projects of J.A. Mills, and he go about counting that they belong to him, like the University of Ghana Medical School, for instance, the gas, for instance. I mean, almost all the things that they shout about Professor Mills' legacy. So I don't know who is lighting candle looking for John Mahama. He rather doing so. But you see, when it comes to the African leaders and their effort to ensure that we combat terrorism, that is something that is long overdue. we as Africans should have had such solution long ago. In that regard, we would not have had the terrorism, the banditism, and
Banditry.
Okay, banditry. But if you want to add them, you can add banditrism.
I like the
Yeah, that word is all in almost a lot of the African countries, especially in Nigeria, with the terrorist activities of the Boko Haram. And apart from that, we see the Sahel, the Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad. I mean, almost everywhere within the west coast of Africa, you have seen instability. And Ghana seems to be the oasis of peace within the rest of the West African countries. And being that alone do not make our democracy the best, because, like we said, Ghana and Nigeria are like bedfellows. Whatever that happened in Nigeria, if Nigeria catches cold, if Nigeria sneezes, we are likely to catch cold and all those things. So if there is instability within Nigeria, within the sub-Saharan Africa, and even within the West Coast, it's a border for all of us. And that is the reason why leadership has to be frontal in the fight against terrorism. I've learned this with pride. I mean, the effort now that Dr. Akufo-Addo put while he was the ECOWAS chairman, and also the fact that, you remember, immediately after he stepped down as ECOWAS chairman, there were some other development that reared its head in Burkina Faso, to which the president went to the U.S. and gave his disquiet about, I mean, the Wagner group and their activities, their potential activities in the West and all that. If we have a force like what is being planned, like what you used to have the ECOMOG, I don't know whether ECOMOG is still there. It's now functional. I remember in the early 90s when there was turmoil in Sierra Leone and Liberia. ECOMOG was deployed there. And we all saw the success, the modicum success that they chalked. Even though in their present, some although, you know, was still ousted, I mean, and assassinated. But I think that they were a useful military group within the West Africa region. And even if all the other sub-regions, you know, happen to have those groups, we can amalgamate them when the need arises and ensure that they fight for the interests of Africa. And it's not just fight, I mean, but sometimes even their presence alone scare would be perpetrators of terrorism. But when terrorists know that nothing is going to happen and they seem not to be any counter group that can thwart their efforts, they will be emboldened and do whatever that they want. And that explains what Boko Haram is doing. I mean, the reckless killing of lives, maiming people almost invariably daily in some of our African regions. I think that we need such force. And I remember I have been a strong advocate for the UN, ECOWAS, and all that. I remember when Mali was having their military problems, and ECOWAS threatened and even brought their military heads to Accra in readiness for what will happen. I had always supported them. I've always supported them. That is, if you are a regional body and you seem to be toothless, bulldog, in the end, there will be a lot of chaosness. And they, even at least, they did not just say that they were going into military action. They said that, first of all, I mean, they are ensuring that the first they will trigger diplomacy, and when diplomacy failed, then they go the military way. And as we have not gone into military, what do you call it, fight or armed conflict with Mali, it means that the diplomacy has been a success. But I remember the effort they put in to ensure that they even get even the Malian military leader. They went through hell in order to get him. But when they tricked him, you saw that he presented himself for negotiations and all those things. So sometimes you need, and I remember, I mean, when we were young, we used to quote this Kofi Kakari, who said that if you want peace, you have to prepare for war. I mean, you cannot say that, oh, we are peaceful people and therefore why do you want to prepare for war? I mean, war itself is good. I mean, war ensures that it stems the tide and ensure that perpetrators or various feuding functions are brought to book and all those things. So, for me, I think that this is long overdue. We should have done all these things years ago, and it's never late than never. And what I expect others to do is to give them the support. I remember anytime African leaders bring some productive or some useful suggestions or some useful moves, people cynically, oh, we are tired of you people. Then they will bring the negatives in order to mar the positives. And I think that once these particular suggestions, I don't know whether they have taken action or they have started the process of ensuring, or is just within the embryonic stage. But whatever the situation is, once somebody has hatched that idea and they have, and is at the discussion stage, I think that is good for the peace and stability of this continent. And while there is peace and stability, you talk about the fact that we are the richest continent. You cannot be a richest continent when when there is no peace within. And peace is not only the absence of war. I mean, if there is no even democratic tendencies within the African continent, where people do whatever, where leadership is by might, and might is always right. People do any and everything to assume power, and when they get the power, they do any and everything to amass the wealth of the people. And I think that that is even more disastrous than sometimes even war, because it's like a war against the property of the nation and all those things. So, for me, I think that it's a good idea. It's something that we all have to, embrace, for the forward march of this continent. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
But let me just hasten to correct some last decision that I made about Africa's status as the richest continent. It has nothing to do with whether there's peace. Yes, I'm standing by it. It has nothing to do with whether Africa is at peace or not. It's an objective situation. No, Africa is the richest continent. It's undeniable.
But how do you announce?
You are not talking about another thing.
Yeah.
When you talk about harnessing,
I'm not saying
you don't challenge the status. No.
I haven't challenged that. I was only referring to that, the fact that, you say, don't correct me. How when there is no... How would the continent be the richest continent when they are rich? And you can't assess your richness.
No.
You see, like what
your wealth as an objective situation is there. There is irrespective of the state of your abundance of plenty. You can say so.
You see, that's the point.
But it's so that you are plenty.
Listen,
the fact that you are plenty is not taken away.
No, listen. I don't think that I've said here. I don't think that I've said here that we are not the richest. So where from this thing?
No, the way you put it.
Oh, how do
I put it? It's the condition of peace that Africa's status. It is not.
Let me tell you.
It is not.
Made a certain pronouncement.
It is not.
He said that domestic tranquility leads to economic prosperity. So listen, you can have all the things that you want, or all the resources that you have, but if there is no peace within, you cannot harness them. You cannot even tap into them in order for you to get the development that you want. But that's the point I'm making.
That also take away the fact that
Ghana, we have all the peace and the wealth. Leadership? What
it doesn't take away the fact. It doesn't take away
the objective position
that the wealth is still there. Well, thank you very much.
No, if the wealth is there and you cannot tap it, it's nothing.
We'll proceed to
it's as good as
next topic for conversation. A very, very interesting one. I know my guests here are looking forward to that discussion. Also, my viewers are waiting with bated breath for us to discuss that topic. 2 days ago, at the University of Professional Studies here in Accra, the National Democratic Congress, they officially outdoored the running mate to their flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama. A former vice chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, for the second time has been selected by the flag bearer of the party as his running mate. So the outdooring ceremony happened 2 days ago, and of course, I'm sure that maybe the opposition didn't expect some of the things that she said on the day, but she said them. And quickly, to go into some of the things that she said and some of the things that have made the news. She said, I will share in our collective successes and share responsibility for our setbacks, if any. And at the time of reckoning, he says, listen, John Dramani Mahama, I will not, in the advancement of self-serving ambition, declare to the world that I was only the driver's mate. This statement she made, I think, was on the lips of everybody. She also spoke about the fact that excavators and aboboyas have even flown, faster than our confirms and all of that. All these statements, very, very interesting. But I think we have a video that I'd want us to play, brief one, a short one, so that we come back to begin that conversation on what transpired at UPSA.
Allow me to address you directly. Note, on March 7th, 2024, by renominating me, you have demonstrated your remarkable consistency and unwavering commitment to inclusivity and innovation. I have heard you share with me, with the public, as you have done tonight, your rationale for choosing me again. I find this very, very touching. I see your choice as an I see your choice as an affirmation of your belief in the capabilities of the Ghanaian woman. I will not, in the advancement of self-serving ambition, declare to the whole world that I was only the driver's mate. It is in the national interest and in your own interest to make transparent what has been and is going on in your establishment. The truth will not be suppressed. You cannot be so independent as to disregard the people who validate your existence. It does not happen anywhere. easy. A word to the wise is in Asen North. This administration
of her station that the objective minded people are there, those who are not even members of the NDC, but who want to look at the issue, those people, what people call floating voters, will without any item of that arrive at a consensus that this is the vice president they have been waiting for. Having listened to her and seen her demeanor, seen the humility with which she presented herself, the dignity and the grace were overawed by her performance. And that's why for once, my English has failed me here. I can't find a word, but to say it was a virtuoso performance. I wish I could get a better word. That won the admiration of everybody, not just those who were there, Ghanaians across the length. And since then, I'm sure there have been opportunities for this to be showcased on interviews with Ghanaians across the political divide who spoke. But she came from a background and captured succinctly what President Mahama had said when he was leaving office on the 7th of January 2017, that posterity will be my judge. Posterity will judge me. And without item of doubt, today, Ghanaians had wished that they could have rolled back time. Because people, like I said, are lanterns and looking for President Mahama in broad daylight. Bless. When President Mahama was leaving office on the 7th of January 2017, our economy was in a far, far better shape than what the so-called managers of the better economy. And I've always said it, the NPP, they tout their credentials, they tout their competence, but they are hollow. Very, very hollow. When you subject them to critical scrutiny, they are hollow. They can't perform. And no wonder, the worst economic performance on an annual basis under the aegis of the Fourth Republic has been registered by them. An economic growth of 0.4%. They can go back and give reasons as to why that sordid performance was achieved. It doesn't matter. It is still their record. Whether it was occasioned by... Why? Governments at every time face challenges. So if you face challenges and you perform poorly, you are useless. So the worst economic performance is their record. The best economic performance under the aegis of the Fourth Republic was under the NDC. 14.1%. When President John Dramani Mahama was chairman of the economic management team.
You mentioned Professor Mills' name.
Professor Mills was the president. We would resist. You see, we are resisting the temptation of MPP. Your distinction between a driver and a mate. For us in NDC, it is not a driver and a mate.
You go into...
It was a president and his vice president working in unison.
So why not?
So we are not making any... President Mills takes pride of place in...
So mention his name.
Of course. President Mills of blessed memory. We never make that distinction.
That's the reason why the
a driver and a mate.
Will vote against
a very opportunistic vice president who can throw his president under the bus. But I'm coming to that. So you see the economic indicators from that point of coming from His Excellency President to President Mahama when he left office in January. The macroeconomic indicators were clear. If you take inflation, 15%. If you take the exchange rate, 3.8% to the dollar.
4.2.
3.8 to the dollar.
4.2.
Okay? If you take our total indebtedness, 120 billion.
22.
From independence to where we were. Now contrast it. I'm just even cutting short. Never in the annals of our country's history, when President Mahama was listening, we left a sinking fund with billions of Ghana of dollars in it.
How much?
Okay, we left the what do you call it? This money we use for energy sector levy. Okay, we never had all those other encumbrances on us as we have under the government of the hopelessly non-performing government of Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia. So the economy was in a better fuel prices. Today, a gallon, today a liter of fuel is 15 Ghana cedis. In some filling stations, it's even more. A liter. What they are selling for a liter today was even more than a gallon under President Mama. It was 14 cedis a gallon.
No, it was 18.
Okay? 14 cedis a gallon.
So 18.
Okay? So imagine, he's not even feeling shy. He's saying that even 80 cedis a gallon.
Yeah, I mean,
80, let me even take it. 80 cedis a gallon.
yes, that was a fact.
Convert, what is the price of a gallon today?
Do the calculation.
You should say it. You are in a hurry anybody to associate him with the economy. He himself is running away from the economy.
How?
And he says that he was only a mate. He proffered advice to Nana Akufo-Addo, he refused to take it. And that if you are in a sorry state, if the economy is in a stupid, sorry state today, they should exonerate him because he gave them advice and they refused to listen. This is one of the most disloyal vice presidents I've seen in the history of our country. A vice president who is prepared to throw his president under the bus. That's why Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyemang's
So you are now fighting for the
is
president.
poignant. I will not, in the pursuit of self-serving ambition, declare that I was only a mate. Fantastic point. This is one of the most politically savvy points that you can ever think coming from a political actor. Because politics is based on loyalty. If you cannot be loyal to the president who chose you, how are you going to serve him loyally? If you can pick and choose that, oh, in this particular area we excel, so it is for me. In the areas that we fail woefully, it is for the president. What crass disloyalty? What crass dishonesty? And I've always said it, to say that Dr. Bawumia lies and is dishonest, to accuse him of lying and being dishonest, is like accusing a dog of barking. It comes to him naturally. So clearly, the office of the vice president, which has been debased for these 7.5 years, clearly, when Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyemang spoke, Ghanaians resoundingly saw that this is the vice president they have been waiting for, to come and salvage the image of the vice presidency and team up, give loyalty to President Mahama. He will never throw President Mahama under the bus. That's why she said, whether there are challenges or there are successes, collectively, they will take all of them. She will take all of them on board. She will not assign the successes to herself and then throw President Mahama under the bus and say that President Mahama was responsible for these difficulties we had. She will stay loyal to contain, and collectively they will take it. President Mahama and Ghanaians and the NDC can be assured that we have in Professor Jane Opoku-Agyemang a vice president who will not only be loyal, but will work assiduously with the president to ensure that the economy is revamped. And like she said, through the 24-hour policy of President Mahama, she is going to be the ambassador and the workhorse behind not only the propagation, but the implementation, successful implementation of that 24-hour policy that President Mahama initiated.
24 hours.
And then that becomes the hope to salvage Ghanaians and drive them from the endless tears they are facing. She also made it clear in the process of actioning the power that has been given to them by the good people of this country, they will ensure that accountability is exerted. Anybody who has contributed to plundering this economy, to looting government and state assets, will be brought to book. And it is clear from the perspective of a president who has earned the unenviable accolade of being the chief corruption clearing agent, who under his watch for 7.5 years has not even had the courage to bring even one of his officials to book. It's a sad commentary on somebody who rode on the backs of the people of this country on an anti-corruption agenda. You remember what he said? You use the ANAS principle. He will do this. He will empower the state agencies. The man he appointed as the special prosecutor, Honorable Martin Amidu, he frustrated him from doing his work. When he was going after Osafu Mafu, he was going after Kelofodata and others. The president himself said, hey, stay your hands off. These are my anointed people. You dare not touch them. That is why Martin Amidu, in his resignation, described President Nana Akufo-Addo. And this one is not somebody in the ADC. Martin Amidu, who they said they were going to use him to go after the ADC people. They were assured of his political stance. Martin Amidu described President Nana Akufo-Addo as the mother serpent of corruption. I think many people have not digested what that means. A serpent alone is already terrible. That this is a mother serpent of corruption. That is Nana Akufo-Addo's title, given to him by his own special prosecutor. So you can see, our people say that when the chief himself goes for a Tokyo Do haircut, what would the young men do? Okay? So you can see clearly. Now, this is a woman who comes as a complete accomplished woman on her own record. Bless, I'm sure it is already history that she is the first woman vice chancellor of a public university in this country. What a monumental achievement. Okay? And not only that, and which she mentioned in her speech, that achievement and other achievements she has made as a gender activist, it's not just for herself and by herself.
She's a gender activist.
It hinges on how long you can hold the door open for other less privileged people to pass through. Fantastic statement. This is a woman of selflessness and humility. To tell you that in achieving something, it is not for you. It is how long you ensure that that achievement opens doors to uplift people who are downtrodden, especially disadvantaged and oppressed women. So you see, so this tells you the quality that she's bringing to partner with His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama for the presidency. It tells you, compare and contrast it with somebody who comes and even before he opens his mouth, people are convinced that he's going to spew out a plethora of lies. Compare that to what this woman is bringing. The competence, commitment, dedication, loyalty, vision-led and driven achievement, and her ability to exhibit this in a very humble manner that will inspire millions of Ghanaians. So you can see it. She talks about arrogance of government, especially associated with these people, and coined that term, ethnocentric elitism. Summarizes the arrogance of this government, seeking to even sometimes play ethnic politics. That you are giving something on the basis of who you are and where you come from. So you can look at some group of people and talk to them like they are not Ghanaians. You did not vote for me, so I have no business. I even didn't have business coming here. Incredible loose talk from a president. Never in the annals of our country's history have we had a loose talking president like this. Incredible. And this is what in her speech she sought to portray, bringing on board with President Mahama to cure and make humility of service to the people. When the people queue up in the sun and vote for you, you are not their master. You are their humble servant. You don't talk to them. And you can just even see, even our chiefs, look at the recent video. I'm sure you if you don't have the video, I'll send it to you. Where he came and chiefs have been and greeting people. He came and was, get up. A president himself. I have never seen this sort of thing. He's such a disgrace. What kind of man is this? shouting on the chiefs, get up and greet me. Get up and greet me. What a shame. What a shame. The arrogance of power is too much. And that is what you're talking about. That people have to be humble. You are a servant of the people and not a lord. And that Ghanaians are not a conquered people. We are not vassals. Nana Akufo-Addo is treating that as if he had conquered us. He's not behaving like a president. He and Dr. Bawumia. Okay? So, bless. I just want to indicate that if you shift through and look at her commitment to the cause of women and young people, you have already initiated a policy of setting up a women's bank and youth empowerment policies and programs to come and deal with the issues of the runaway unemployment we have in the country today. People who touted under President Mahama that, oh, the unemployment was unacceptable. Today, look, if it was 6% and was unacceptable, today it's going towards 20%. What do you say to that? Today, many business people, Salia knows, you drive, you go to Aboso to go and buy spare parts. If you go, don't make a mistake and identify yourself as an MPP person. Not only will you not get the spare parts, but they may beat you up. Because you have collapsed many of their businesses there. With your atrocious mismanagement of the HNV system. This is what she said would do to ensure that they rekindle the hopes in our youth so that they can stay back in this country and work to develop this country. So, for someone who has said that she will share collective successes, achievements, and even challenges, if there are challenges, Jenana Opoku Ajima will not behave like Dr. Bawumia and say that I was only a mate. Go and tackle the driver. Right. Give me the steer. Which steer is he looking for? He will not come anywhere near the steer. Because the good people of this country already know who he is. As vice president, he has been a monumental failure. He has denigrated. Never in the annals of our country's history has the office of the vice president been brought so low. That you associate a vice president with profuse, persistent lying, deception. We have given you power to work. You go and set targets for GRA people. Okay? And I'm talking of Dr. Bawumia. As chairman of the economic management team, you set a target, and he himself said it, that they are moving tax to GDP from 12 to 20%. So you call the GRA people and tell them that your new targets are higher. These are your new targets. And then for self-serving, like Professor Nana Opoku Ajima said, for self-serving political ambition, you go and tell business people, the GRA people have been coming around to harass you. We are going to take steps to stop them from harassing you. God of mercy. What a hypocrite. What level of deceit and self-serving. This is the exact opposite of Jinana Opoku Ajima. Right. He's coming with that thing with truth, integrity, service, selflessness, vision, and above all, a dedicated commitment to work with President Mahama to salvage this economy and make life better for Ghanaians.
Thank you very much.
The last one I want to say is the appeal she made to all of us in the NDC. And I share in total, and I've said it on many platforms. Let us in the NDC work like we are far, far behind. Let nobody sit down and think that yes, all the polls, all international and local, have predicted that we win. But you see, the journey is in the leg, not in the eye. So let us not sit down and accept that. Let us work at our various branches in such a committed manner that, my brother, even before the verdict is announced, the MPP which have been making empty noises, that they will not hand over power. My brother, if you go and shake a baobab tree, it is your head that will shake, not the baobab tree. Right. Power in this country Not a single person can attempt.
Right.
When the verdict of the people has been pronounced,
right.
Nobody should make an attempt. You will be the first to run away. Don't even venture that you can threaten the verdict that the Ghanaians are going to issue.
Right.
And so I am saying this here and now. We in the NDC must work hard at our branches, ensure that there is collective vigilance from the declaration of the results, the collection of the pink sheets, the accompanying of the ballot boxes to the coalition centers, the staying at the coalition centers for the results to be done until we have the full complement of everything. Let us not move away. And I'm very confident that the good people of this country are going to, on the 7th of December 2024, give a ringing endorsement, a ringing mandate to President John Dramani Mahama and his running mate, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, so that on January 7th, 2025, President Mahama will be sworn in as president and Nana Opoku-Agyeman as the vice president of the republic.
Thank you very much.
To wipe away the tears. Bless, I want you to write it here.
You are not the only one.
On the 7th of January 2025, there will be such a level of carnival. There will be such a level of carnival on the streets. There will be such a level of carnival. I'm just ending now. There will be such a level of carnival on the streets that it will be like a second independence of Ghana. Ghanaians would have gotten rid of 8 wasted, useless years under Nana Akufo-Addo, who has sent this country backwards.
Right. Thank you very much, Alhaji ABA, for saying it. Let me do a few messages, then I come to Sakasalia. Zulka Uthman says, bless. Okay, Moses Ajalo says, Akufo-Addo is an arrogant president. I'm watching you live from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for your message. This one here also says that my greetings to Honorable ABA Husseini. Julie Belinda Obre sent this one. Don Luigi says MPP supporters respected Nana Opoku as their great grandmother, but she behaved towards them in her speech as a political foot soldier. No sympathy for her when they start forcing a portion of her own concoction down her throat. Okay. Okay, this one here also says that MPP party, party of criminals. Okay, thank you for your message. This one here says that, good morning, Bless. I'm watching you from Nigeria. Okay, it appears that we have a lot of viewers from Nigeria. Good morning, Bless. This one here says that Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman isn't just an academic powerhouse. She's a beacon of hope for Ghanaians. She passionately argues that Ghana must be liberated from the grip of the corrupt, disorganized, and utterly incompetent MPP government. Their mismanagement has robbed us of our joy and plunged the nation into despair over these past 7 years. John Paul sent this one. Thank you very much, John Paul, for your message. Please, Pan African TV. Okay, I won't continue with this message. Ajambore Baba says Ghanaians are waiting patiently for 7th December 2024 to rescue Ghana and Ghanaians from unprecedented economic hardship by voting for the inspirational and incredible leader Mahama. We cannot risk again by choosing incompetent Baumia, visionary John and Jane Beba. Okay, thank you for your message. So this one says Saka destroyed the program last week Friday. He exhibited immaturity and was also peddling falsehood and arrogance. Why did you bring him again today? All right, so these are some of the messages that you've sent. Let me turn my attention to Saka Salia.
To ask Saka one question: when will they name their running mate?
So according to Imani Boss, the speech made by Prof. Jane was audacious. That's the NPP thing saying.
That's it.
Yeah, first of all, if you watch the program very well, I just want to be as objective as possible. I'm telling you, today is Friday, and I'm going to pray. I want to be as objective as possible. The speech by Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman was completely empty. thin speech full of emptiness. She didn't say there was nothing like even any policy direction that she thinks that she can profess or suggest to the president. What I'm hearing is that, oh, a women bank. I mean, we have women banks already. That she doesn't know that there's a bank called Women Bank. I mean, I don't get it. And I'm hearing people calling it Odish. I mean, what is that? Why are we doing this to ourselves as a nation? As if, because look, this was one of the listless speeches of anybody vying to become vice president of this land that I've ever heard. Very listless. To the extent that people mentioning a 24-hour economy, that nebulous policy of a sort, that almost everybody within the NDC is giving their understanding of what 24-hour economy is. A nebulous policy. It is not even a policy. It's nothing. It's just like saying that, oh, we will work 24 hours. I'm going to work 24 hours. What is a policy about it? Nothing. I like to be sat here and once again peddle a lot of falsehood, and some of them include the Martin Amidu. He is now praising Martin Amidu to the heaven. I will let you know who Martin Amidu is. Martin Amidu was the one who resigned from the NDC under Professor Mills. Even before his resignation, there was a scuffle, a fisticuff, a near fisticuff with the president then. If not by the grace of God, that some of the northern... Oh, please.
Fisticuff or near fisticuff?
Oh, I've used my words. So I've used my words.
You are not even sure.
I used my words. Oh. So you take them. I said there was a near fisticuff. It was Alaji Mame Disi and Co. Oh, let me finish.
No, the near fisticuffs you were.
Yes.
Between the former special prosecutor.
Yeah, between Martin Amidu and the Professor Mills.
Okay.
You understand? That was what. I'm coming.
So in essence, does that not make him a man of principle?
Let me.
Is it not on the basis of that?
So no problem. No problem.
That was made special prosecutor.
So no problem. I am saying because he mentioned Martin Amidu. So that was what happened. And Martin Amidu had resigned because of the Wyoming matter, the corrupt Wyoming matter within the NDC government. He says that, I mean, his principle ran counter to that of the corrupt NDC government. And he resigned and fought the Wyoming matter alone and won. Secondly, Martin Amidu, you remember, is the one who said that John Dramani Mahama was a committee was set by Professor Mills to investigate John Dramani Mahama on corruption matters. That's the Embraer matter. He mentioned William Abua as the chairman of the committee, and then Mr. Amua and Brigadier Anoti retired as the committee members. You are here praising him. I'm telling you what he said about John Dramani Mahama, who was not loyal. But Nana said that he's going to be loyal. John Mahama was not loyal to Professor Mills. He was very disloyal to Professor Mills. And when he took the reign of government, he sacked all the Professor Mills people from the seat of government, including Koku Anyidehu and Co. So he himself, as vice president, John Dramani Mahama was very, very disloyal human being. And it came as no surprise that the Ahoys are saying that anything can happen. Anything can actually happen. And that's the reason why Jinana is trying to, more or less ingratiate herself into the good books of John Mahama. And she succeeded in doing so. So in the future, in the unlikely event that Ghanaians made a mistake and asked the Dumso Hene to come again, in the unlikely event, and then something happened, then John Nana. You understand? Oh, let me finish. Let me please. Let me finish.
You should not be making such
I did not make it.
A Muslim.
Oh,
it's incredible.
I did not make those things.
I did not make those things. If you didn't support that statement, will you be making
it? Secondly, he's saying that NPP is governing like Ghana is a vassal state, that we conquered it. The NDC, Asheni Nketiah was saying it. Even as we are speaking, the arrogance of the NDC is that they are fighting among themselves as to who wins what. Even before the spoils of war, even before they become victors, they are spoiling over, they are fighting over a potential sport of war. And then you think these people, and you think these people are worthy of having Ghana at heart. Asheni Nketiah made that clear, that they are fighting over positions they are yet to even win the elections, and that he want everybody to fight so that after they win, then they can now share. So like they will now put Ghana on the table, and your mama will be the chairman, and then they'll be sharing among themselves as to who take what. That's what Asheni Nketiah is saying. And you are sitting here telling us that we are behaving like Ghana is a vassal state. I am telling you time and time again that, you see, when it comes to governance, when it comes to who has this nation at heart, the NDC should not even come at all. You see, John Dramani Mahama come across as somebody who is not principled. You remember his Harvard speech? I'm saying this thing because Alhaji Abi Hussein sat here and says that, it was in their reign as John Mahama as the head of the economic team that they got all the largest growth. It was on the back of the oil that J. Kufuor discovered for you people. That was in 2011. It's like somebody who doesn't know it, an imbecile who sat somewhere and then inherited from the deceased father.
And you inherited 2 oil wells?
Listen, we discovered the oil before. So listen. So listen. Let me make that point. I am saying that in 2011, 2011 was the first time that Ghana, with our oil receipt came. We started exploring the oil. We started, oil exploration in 2010. So in 2011, the oil receipt, the money that we bought came. So it was like you sat somewhere, and all of a sudden, no, Charlie, you have won lotto. That was it. It was not like your dexterity that gave you that high growth. It was a windfall from the oil. The non-oil growth was a paltry 2.something%. I'm telling you. Show me the statistics. Show me the statistics. So I'm saying that they did not do anything extraordinary. It was just like a manna that came from heaven to their laps. And you come and sit here and make noise. And compare that one to COVID-19, the growth that we had. He said that was 0.5 and things. The average, the world average in that year was negative growth.
You're lying. Another lie.
I'm telling you, even in COVID year, Ghana had positive growth. The peak of COVID. And Ghana,
I will show you the economic growth, and you
show me. And I'm saying,
Cote d'Ivoire, I'll let me show you. I'm not going to show you.
When you were making noise and then making all the fallacious statement, I was sitting here watching you. I was sitting here watching you. You were making all those fallacious statements.
Give me time to expose you.
Yes, you cannot expose me because you have already been exposed. You cannot claw back any shame that you have gone through. No, I am saying that in terms of growth, Ghana, we are one of the few countries in the world, I'm not talking even of Africa, that posted positive growth during COVID. And you see, when we talk about COVID, people should not pretend not to know what COVID is. You see, that is the greatest recession in 100 years. Recession. The whole world went to sleep. COVID affected almost the whole world. Everybody was looking inward. People were dying. Economies were shutting down. So the world economy came to a standstill. So nothing was working anymore. And it was so devastating. There was almost everything, and including what we call the imported inflation. Now, government of Ghana, through the instrumentality of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, ensure that we reduce the mortality rate. That because if you compare Ghana to other countries, I mean, Ghana numbers were a little bit down. So at the end of the day, every country, including US, UK, in terms of debt to GDP, rose high. In terms of their inflation, rose high. Almost every country, including our neighbors that he's talking about. And the World Bank, the IMF itself, have come out to say that half of the world then, and later on almost the whole world, almost everybody was knocking on the door of the IMF for support. Cote d'Ivoire has gone. The money Cote d'Ivoire got from even IMF is more than that of Ghana. Almost all our neighbors, Nigeria, all of them have had support from IMF. And then you think that the positive growth that we choke, you are comparing that one to John Dramani Mahama 3.4 when he left office. When we did not have COVID, when there was no world economic problem anywhere. Sometimes you don't just look at the figures alone. And if you take MPP government, for instance, for 3 consecutive years when we took over power, 2018, 2019, and 2017, we were the fastest growing economies until COVID set in. The fastest growing economy in the world. Don't laugh, because yes, in the world.
You said we don't have confidence in the figures we are putting
I'm telling you, we're the fastest growing economy in the world. You understand me?
Where did you
and then
set
COVID sets in and derail all those gains. And then you come and sit here and create the impression, as if when it comes to the economy, John Dramani Mahama and the NDC are better managing. They cannot. I remember the IEU, the EIU, Economic Intelligence Unit, and their analysis that they do in 2016 and 2015, 2016 and 2020. What did they say? They said that if Ghanaians were going to vote based on the economy, that the MPP is far ahead of the NDC because they use the history of the various political parties from J. Kufuor, Mills, and John Mahama, and came to that conclusion that when it comes to the economy, if Ghanaians are going to use the economy, the MPP is in a different league. And you come and sit here and then, try to create your own stories. I would say emphatically that Jenana Opoku, whose speech I did not admire and would never admire, I did not gain anything. It lacked policy direction. It was full of innuendo, and her demeanor and lack of charisma was so visible. And for me, I saw that no, such a person should not rise to the top position of governance. To the extent that if you say that she, as a woman, is coming to ensure that she opened doors. We have seen her already. When she was a minister of education, she never opened doors for women. We've seen she even closed the doors for women when she was a minister for education. She closed the doors for women. Because look, when women were asking for chalk, she and second lady then said that they were not going to give chop today, they were not going to give chop tomorrow. If you are a woman, a teacher, and then you are employed and you work for 3 years, Nana Jane Opoku only gave you 3 months' salary. These were and indeed, when they came out with that so-called progressive free SHS, only just to water down the free SHS promise of the NDC. I mean, your mama went to the State of the Nation's address in 2015, and then I just announced, out of the blue, hey, in 2016 September, we are going to start a progressive free SHS. That progressive free SHS was under the leadership of Jane Nana Opoku. They never pay a peswa. Do you know what even the progressive free SHS was? It was just a scholarship given to some group of day students. They never pay a peswa. She never pay a peswa. And those people included women. At the end of the day, it has to take the MPP government, led by Napo, to pay 30 million euro that they left behind there. A capitation grant were in arrears under Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman. Indeed, her period in the educational sector was the worst in Ghana history, including even teachers who were the professional development allowance. She decided not to pay and call their bluff. And today, you are praising such a person to the high heaven as if she's some special breed. When you look through the facade, you could see who she is. Very mundane. Her speech and charisma leave man to be desired. Right. So for me, I mean, Bless, in all sincerity, I've given you my sincere analysis of her on the day and even in political life. And I said that it is not even about speeches. If the speech was even empty cry, or was not even inspiring cry, one would have expected some level of some policy direction. But to just say that you are going to commit to a president who himself is visionless. So if you are following a visionless president and then there is no direction, you just follow. You just follow without ensuring that you redirect his focus. And for me, if something even happened and she becomes the president of this land, I think that it would have been one of the monumental disaster that would have ever befall this country.
Right. Thank you very much.
Yes,
2 minutes. Yeah, right. I'll give you a few minutes for responses. We don't have time. We have just 4 minutes.
I'm surprised that he, a Muslim, on a Friday chooses to dabble in something which belongs to Allah Almighty. Allah is watching what you are saying. It is only Allah. Look, Bless, I can be very sick and be in a hospital bed today. Somebody who is walking on the street and even trotting at the Accra Sports Stadium will collapse and die before the one who is in the hospital. Okay? And you are a Muslim. You know if somebody makes a statement, if somebody makes a statement which is unfounded, and you know as a Muslim that speech is unfounded, you don't repeat it. When you repeat it, it means you support what you are saying. And we know that in the MPP, you have been wishing that your mama will even fall dead. We know that.
When your mama is
because
wishing
you know
another
that
to die.
President Mama has been selected and he's in line to become president on January 7th, 2025. You know that. And so your wish that he should die. You know that. We know that. But you should know that as a Muslim, that is within the exclusive prerogative of Allah Almighty. No human being can do that. So if somebody pretends that thing as a Muslim, you don't join him. What you have done is bid'ah. It's very bad. As a Muslim, you have to go and recant.
No, this is not.
Seriously, you don't do that. This is something that belongs to God, and you take it as a human being to pronounce. Go and ask spiritual people what that's what you have done. Now let me say something. Look, under COVID, go and look at the statistics. All our neighboring countries, they grew nearly 2%. Cote d'Ivoire grew 2%. Burkina Faso grew 1.8%. Togo grew 1.6%. 1.6%, 4 times the growth of Ghana. This resource started. Go and look at the statistics. So through the hopeless incompetence and mismanagement of the economy, you wanted mismanage the economy to grow at only 0.4%, and you attribute it to COVID. How can Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, and Burkina Faso, our neighbors, they grew in digits?
And so?
4 times, 5 times our economy. 5 times our growth. That's why I say it's your crass incompetence that sent us spiraling under COVID. And you come here and you sit down and you are talking about this. Of course, you won't see any policy direction. I said it earlier on that the likes of Saka, how can the dance of a goat, graceful as it is, please the hyena? You will never see anything beautiful in it. So no wonder. Even when she had mentioned all these empowerment programs I mentioned, he said that he didn't even see anything. Of course, you can be there are people when you are looking when you are looking at something and your mind is jaundiced. Where is it?
You don't know the women bank.
Where the state will inject resources, where is it? Show me where it is.
You don't know the women bank.
I say, is it a state bank?
But is that not,
is it a state?
Oh,
he is talking about the state spearheading development. What are you talking about? You see, that's what I'm saying. You see, you don't even have the mind to comprehend it.
Creation of
you can't even comprehend it.
You think that is innovation?
And let me just indicate to you. Yes,
there's nothing to
before the free agents, when the NDC advocated progressive, before the NDC left power, under Professor Jindanov, all the students had their fees paid.
Not all these students.
All the students.
Selected these
and
students.
About 10,000 body students had their fees paid under the progressive. Go and check that.
It's a lie.
Go and check. You don't know it.
Selected students.
So I don't expect you. Well, that's
a scholarship.
I don't expect you to see anything. But I'm just saying, even now,
which was never
part of Dr. Bayet's incompetence, he can't even name a running mate. As we speak, he can't name a running mate.
And you call that one?
He's in comatose. Right. He's run down as a Muslim to go to have pastors put their head on him and bless him. No wonder the Islamic community is rejecting him.
Which Islamic community is rejecting him?
Thank you very much. Saka, 2 minutes.
I'm telling you.
Saka, 2 minutes. Yeah,
I'm a Muslim. Almost every Islamic community, where we saw, is gunning for the country. Oh, I'm telling you. I'm saying that in this nation.
You are lying.
In Ghana,
it will never work.
There's
not a single Islamic
90% of the Muslim population are going to vote for Bawumia.
Not a single Islamic.
No matter your ranting,
you saw even what
he will get 90% of the Muslim vote. It's a promise. Please, I am telling you. Oh, look at him. Look at him.
He will not
get
close to that.
You see, I was even voting on the basis of religion. You see, if I'm a Christian, if I'm a Christian, I will agree with this.
You don't call yourself.
I will agree with them because look, Bawumia tried to breach the gap between the Muslim and the Christian.
There's no.
Oh, please! If there is no gap, no. If there is no gap, why are you saying that he subjected himself to pastors? If there is no gap, why are you saying that he subjected himself to Christians?
No, I'm saying that as a Muslim.
No, so why? There is nothing wrong.
Christians go to
there is nothing wrong. He doesn't go there to worship. You do. He doesn't go there to worship.
If he comes as a
so you as MP, you have never visited a church before.
I don't go to worship.
I am asking you as an MP in your constituency. Oh, see, so you see, listen.
I said today will be easy. I can't blows. Right, our time is up. Thank you very much, Saka Sada. Thank you very much. No, our time is up. It's past 10. We need to go. Tomorrow, Alaji and Alajis at 9 a.m. Make sure you do well to join. My name is ALORMASOR. I started for Kwame Sudanso. Bye bye.